Teacher Sherry here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to focus on one of the most important skills that you need to acquire as a Zebra English teacher, and that is the ability to teach your trial students and convert them to regular students. By converting your trial students to regular students, you will get a stable schedule. What this means is you will be able to teach the same students every week. And this is an asset to you and your scheduling and to your pocketbook as well. So let's start by going over some of the top tips that you can use to help convert your trial students to regular students. I've been teaching with Zebra English for over 6 months. And Zebra English has indicated to me that I am one of the top performers in my ability to convert trial students to regular students. I also have had the opportunity to interview Amanda Altrip, who is another Zebra English teacher who has done an amazing workshop on tips to transition your students from those trials to those regular students. She has over 40, almost 50 regular students that she sees every week. So she is a pro at being able to convert those trial students to regular students. So between Amanda and my tips, I feel like this video is going to be very beneficial to you as you are working on improving your trial lessons so that you can add those regular students to your weekly schedule. So let's take a look. Tip 1 is for you to make a connection with the student and the parent. There are different ways we can do this, but what I like to think of is the parent and myself are on the same team. We are working towards the same goal, which is to help their child improve their English skills. So we can work together by inviting that parent into our classroom and using them as a valuable resource. Before class, you can sit with your camera off and your microphone on and listen to your student. Listen to how your student interacts with their parent. And you can also observe the child. You can always make sure to include that parent in the lesson by thanking the parent as well as the child at the end of class. One thing I like to do is I like to encourage my students to thank their parents as well. So for instance, this morning I was teaching a lesson and my student Sia had asked her mom to get her a sweater because she was cold. When the mom placed the sweater on Sia's shoulders, I said to Sia, "Sia, please tell your mom thank you." She then stopped and thanked her mom, and then mom took the opportunity to say, "You're welcome." This is a way to show the parent that you are helping the student to improve their daily conversational skills and include the parent in the lesson directly. Another fun thing that you can do is if there is a touching moment in the lesson between the parent and the child, is you can encourage the student to say, "I love you." This can be very heartfelt and it's a wonderful thing to see. Tip 2 is that you can learn about China through the language and the culture. This is a tip that comes directly from Amanda's workshop, as I have not incorporated utilizing Chinese language or culture into my lessons directly on a regular basis. Amanda feels that you can learn basic Mandarin phrases that will help you develop the following with your student. You will develop a comfort zone. When they hear a familiar phrase, it can then maybe allay some of their fears if they are new to the live classroom. If you hear them say a familiar phrase in Mandarin, such as "I don't know" or "I don't understand," then this can help you put the pieces together to how your student is feeling. I will complete another video with some common phrases to assist you in being able to listen to how some of those phrases sound so that you can then respond to the student in turn in English, just helping the student recognize that you are validating their feelings of being confused and frustrated. Tip 3 should be pretty simple, but it's important to note, and that is for you to meet the learning objectives of the lesson. Zebra English does provide you with these learning objectives for each class, so make sure you review them prior to entering your classroom. Parents typically know what these learning objectives are quite well, and even if they're not sitting in camera where you can see them, they're often off camera, or they may be watching on another screen, or at the very least, they may watch the playback later. So they're going to make sure that those learning objectives are met. Tip number 4, and this is something that teacher Amanda spoke a lot about in her workshop, and that is to write personalized and professional feedback. So I know many of us use templates, and this is okay. I feel that this is very appropriate. Amanda does write things by hand, and I do sometimes as well. But the important thing is if you use the template to make sure that it is personalized. Personalize the message so that you make the parent feel as if their child is your one and only student and is very important to you. Make sure that you praise the children's ability to do things well. Talk about how they may be a bright student or how they really respond well to teacher correction. Anything noticeable that happened during your lesson that stands out. You're going to also want to give the parent their due credit for working hard throughout the week in the app so that their student can do well in the classroom with us, the live teacher. Include all of the pronunciation and grammatical errors that may have occurred in the lesson. I have a notebook and I write those things down. I'll write down pronunciation errors, if there are any grammar errors, and then also I will write down and dictate sentences that the student produces that are awesome or sentences that they had difficulty with. That way, the parent recognizes that you were very tuned in to their student in the lesson. You can provide a recap over what was learned in the class, and also it's important to talk about any extensions that you do. Extending is the one thing that we can shine on in our classrooms that is different from the app. How do you extend in your lessons? What are things that you do that will set you apart from the app? Highlight those in your feedback. You can also give the parents a prediction of what the future may look like if the student returns to your classroom. Talk about what is to be expected in upcoming lessons, and also talk about how you feel that you can address specific areas of need for that student. Make the feedback all about the student. Don't give a review of your trial class. You can give specific pieces, but don't give a blow-by-blow of each thing that happened in the class. You can ask the parents instead questions about their life, things that you may want to know to get to know the student better. I like to think of my feedback as more of a conversation rather than a one-way exchange of information. I write my feedback so that my parents will indeed respond with answers to my questions, helping me learn more about the student and also helping me learn how I can be best prepared for the future lessons. So some examples might be, I would love to know more about you and your family. Feel free to write responses to me in the teacher feedback area. I often will ask my students to bring a family photo. This is a great way to have the student practice narrating some very familiar things, such as, this is my dad, this is my mom, and then also gives you the opportunity to show a family photo of your family to help you build that connection with your trial student and your parent. Now I know you're thinking, a trial student, why would I show them my family photo? I've only seen them once, and this is the second trial. Guys, this is okay. I have been able to build relationships very quickly with my students. Sometimes you have that connection with a student and you really want them to become your regular. I see it all the time on the Facebook pages. So this is one way that you can continue to build that connection and that bond. Remember, the bottom line of personalized and professional feedback is to make the feedback all about the student and what you can do for that student. The next tip that teacher Amanda talked about in her workshop is to make yourself available. Now, I understand. We all have busy schedules. Many of us work on multiple platforms. So how can you make yourself available? Again, looking at the overall booking rate, look at the PPT slots, look out on the Facebook pages, see what are other people saying are booking. Maybe if morning slots in Eastern Standard Time are not booking well for you, try some evening slots. Everything is so different currently in the landscape of COVID. So booking rates are fluctuating and the specific times of day that are booking are not normal. So try something, give it a period of time, and if it doesn't work, you can maybe add some different hours on. But again, be consistent, make yourself available. Okay, the final thing I want to talk about are some what I call soft skills. And these soft skills are things that we can do that I can't really type out for you in a tip. These things are more like your observational skills. How can you observe your student and look at their nonverbal cues to help you regulate how you provide the lesson back to them? You all know you have those students and they are scared. Are you going to come at them really loud and exuberant if they are very scared and withdrawn? Maybe, maybe not. We should alter our tone appropriately to our student. So if we need to have them elevate their tone, meaning they are very flat in their response, then maybe we need to have an energetic smile and use a lot of intonation patterns to help pull them up. Or maybe they are super excited and really loud and maybe a bit hyper. So that's when maybe we need to bring our voice level down a bit and speak a little more calmly to help them calm themselves. So look at what they're wearing. If they have a character on their shirt, make sure you speak about that. Look in the environment. See if you can see anything in the environment that you can maybe have a conversation about or develop some kind of connection for. And then finally, I do look at my students' nonverbal cues. I look at body language. So if I say something to my student or something's presented on the lesson and the student responds by moving back, that is a clear physical response to a feeling. Either I don't know, I don't feel comfortable with that, or I don't like that. So make sure that you recognize that. Ways that you can use physical proximity to help your student is by coming in a little bit closer when they are speaking to show that you're very interested in what they're saying. Make sure you do not break that eye contact so that you look as if you're making eye contact with them consistently. And finally, smile. An open, pleasant, engaging smile is a great way to break the ice with our students who might be feeling a little uncertain of themselves. Give lots of praise to build their confidence, and it doesn't hurt to be silly sometimes too, because a laugh will often get you a lot of highway on the journey toward converting your student to a regular student. Thank you so much for visiting my channel again, and feel free to post below any questions you have about converting our trial students to our regular students, and look for more videos in the future about more techniques to assist you in your classroom. Happy teaching, and be kind to one another. Goodbye.